Welcome to WordPress Basics. First, we're going to talk a little bit about what is WordPress. There seems to be some amount of confusion in regards to what WordPress is. So we want to clear that up right now. Basically, WordPress is a server-side script, basically a piece of code that is written in PHP. Don't worry if you're not already a PHP programmer or coder. One of the great things about WordPress is that you can do a whole lot of stuff with WordPress without having to know how to code in PHP. Of course, understanding PHP, at least the basics of PHP, will definitely help you extend WordPress. Right, so that's pretty much it for the PowerPoint part. Now let's get to it. It's time to do some live training. Let me get out of PowerPoint. Back to WordPress.org we go. So what we're going to do basically in WordPress Basics this session is we're going to go through a full manual installation of WordPress and make sure that we explain the process every step of the way such that you fully understand it, not just give you information that says step 1, step 2, do this, such that you end up at the end of the session knowing kind of what to do but not why. We're going to do both. We're going to cover both the how to do it and the why to do it. So the first thing that you need to do is to go get WordPress itself, the WordPress software, the core that we need to upload to the hosting account. That can be found at wordpress.org/download. And I will make the point because I know Jerry's itching to say, make sure that you say it. You don't want to get WordPress from any other location. So you might find that someone else offers the WordPress download from their site. Our strong suggestion is that you do not download or acquire WordPress from any other location other than wordpress.org/download. This is because, of course, that code is open source, and you can't actually have someone with skills, go in and recode WordPress or basically make some backdoors and then put the package back up for download, and you could be downloading something that's less stable or basically wide open if you download it from some other source. So wordpress.org/download is the only place to get WordPress, and they made it very easy for you. You'll see a nice big blue button up here. Clicking the download button, the blue button, will give you a zip file in .zip format. If you happen to prefer the .tar.gz, I think it's .tar.gz is how they refer to it, compression format, you can click the download text here. So I've already downloaded WordPress to save a little bit of time, so I'm not going to go through that process of it. Basically, I'll just click the button so you can see it brings up a window. It's going to allow you to either open it or save it, and then once you do that, just choose a location to save WordPress in. You'll also see that it adds the file extension, the version number rather, to the file extension. In this case, we are downloading 3.3.2. So once it's downloaded, you can go unzip it and we can further the process. One other quick note before I get off this page is this part right here that says release notification. There is an email sign up feature right here that will allow you to enter your email address such that when new stable releases are made, that you'll automatically get an email. Of course, this information is also shown to you inside of your WordPress admin area, but depending upon how often you're inside WordPress, it may be quicker to get updates via email, so that choice is yours. So before we install WordPress and we go any further, I need to make just a couple of statements in terms or in regards to security. When most people talk about WordPress security, they really talk about hardening WordPress itself. They talk about doing things to the WordPress installation to make it more secure. However, the subject is actually bigger than that, and while we will have a very lengthy, very detailed WordPress security session later tonight, what you need to know basically is this. There's about 30% of all the machines, especially if you're on a PC platform as opposed to a Mac, currently have some form of virus or malware installed on them. And the virus or malware can do a variety of different things, but one of the things that it can do is referred to as a keylogger. And if you have a keylogger installed on your PC and you don't know it, what can happen is each time that you basically go to a site and log in, it can actually log your keystrokes and send that data off-site. And if that's happening to you, basically, it doesn't matter how protective your usernames and passwords, how long and ugly they are for protection or security's sake. If someone can just basically get your raw keystrokes, they have access basically into pretty much everything: cPanel, FTP, your WordPress installation, etc. So my first recommendation to you before you start installing WordPress on an area that you're really concerned with is to make sure that your machine is clean. For me, I basically use two. I'm only taking you over here to Malwarebytes, but Malwarebytes, bytes.org. They have a free and a pro version, but basically Malwarebytes is, for me, the best scanner I've found to basically scan your system to see if it finds any piece of tech that's running on your machine that you need to get rid of. I use the Avast. I use the paid version of Avast as my firewall and my virus preventer, basically, to try to stop getting viruses in the first place. And I use Malwarebytes to run on a semi-regular basis just to make sure that nothing got past Avast. For Jerry, you want to jump in? I forget. I think you're using just the version through Microsoft, right?
Right, Microsoft Security Essentials.
And that I think it's that product is more like Avast, correct? It's more like a firewall and a virus preventer.
It's a firewall, virus preventer, and anti-malware all in one.
Okay, so it does do.
Yeah, they bought a bunch of companies and brought them together. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now you have basically two different resources to look at: either Microsoft Security Essentials, which I believe is free, and
yeah, it's free, but it only runs on Windows.
So. Okay. Fortunately for Mac users, the issues are less, although there have been some Mac viruses out in the recent past. So not being a Mac user, you're going to want to look into that. I can't give you some intelligent training in regards to protecting yourself on a Mac. How about you, Jared?
I'm going to disagree slightly with that.
Okay.
The Conflicker worm a few years ago was a major attack on Windows and was considered one of the largest of its kind attacks. However, the oh man, I just went blank on it. The Mac flashback that we just had a few weeks ago actually infected more computers than the Conflicker worm did. It was actually a larger outbreak on Macintosh than was ever a single outbreak of one kind on the Windows machine. So just because you're on a Mac, don't think you're safe. You actually need to. They're going after Macs harder because people are thinking they're so safe. But fortunately, there's a lot of good software out there. But don't ever click on a download that pops up and says, hey, you want to do a free scan? Or, hey, we think you're infected or whatever. Almost all of those are scams to actually infect your machine. And that's the #1 way that you're going to get hacked, by having malware.
Yep. So if you have a Mac, I would suggest that you do some solid research in regards to what is available to you. Unfortunately, I'm not expert on Macs, but if you're running on a PC, definitely take the time to make sure that your machine is clean prior to working on your sites and or client sites, because it is very, very possible, I know it sounds strange, but it is very possible that you become your own #1 enemy in terms of making hacking even possible, simply because you have malware running on your site that you're unaware of, and you're basically just giving away the keys to the kingdom in just raw username and password information. So with that, let's close this. I'm going to open up this folder and show you what we got going on. So I told you that I had downloaded WordPress already from wordpress.org, and you can see the zip file is here. I then extracted the files, and once extracted, it actually drops off the WordPress version number. The folder that you will end up with just says WordPress. So before we go through the entire installation, I just want to open up the WordPress directory or folder and just show you basically what's contained inside. So I'm just going to double click WordPress, and we'll take a look at the files that basically make up WordPress, the software. Pretty much everything that is in this package, other than